For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Happy Halloween to you. Halloween is a few days away for you. I'm not even going to lie. It's September 17th for me here right now, but Halloween for you is happening in just a couple of days. Or maybe it's already happened. It's, maybe it's tomorrow, maybe it was yesterday. I don't know. Anyhow, Halloween is here. And they gave me a bowl of candy just to kind of keep me going because this is our fourth show that we're taping today. And I want to talk about Halloween just from my perspective when I was a kid and what it's like as an adult, whatever, and how it's changed. It's quite different from when I was a kid. And so this is going to be sort of like a walk down memory lane on the show this week. Maybe I'm talking more to my generation, people in their 40s or early 30s, I guess, probably had the same kind of a deal for Halloween. I think it's a different situation now for kids growing up. I don't have kids, but you'll have to tell me if it's like this in your neighborhood or not, because I've lived in my house, the one house that I have in Winnipeg for 16 years now. Even for the first couple of years when I was living in my house, it's changed, and I guess maybe that's also just the neighborhood and perhaps the way society is. And that's what we're talking about on the show today. So grab some candy, steal some from your kids, whatever you need to do. It all starts on the Scribble right after this.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
JB here on The Scribble. Happy Halloween to you, everybody. I've got some candy just to kind of keep me going with the sugar. But Halloween was always a fun time as a kid because we could, just dress up in whatever. We had so many costumes that either our mom made for us, or we'd go to the store and we would just, I don't remember exactly what store, but it might have been Toys R Us when we were growing up. I don't remember what the store was. It didn't really matter, right? I mean, the fact is you were going to go and look at costumes, so it, could have been that. Maybe it was Sears even. My mom worked at Sears, perhaps. And you maybe kind of knew what you wanted to be, but for us, my brothers and me, I'm the youngest, but my older brothers wanted, they were like a ninja. I wanted to be a witch. I wanted to be a ghost. I wanted to be just kind of the basic things. And then as my brothers got older, they were into sports, so they would just put on their hockey jerseys and I'm a hockey player. Wow, very creative. And so we would go and growing up in Canada, we had the weather was always sort of sometimes you would have a dusting of snow. Sometimes it would be mild. Sometimes you'd be shivering. You would need, mitts, or you would go back home to warm up, and then you would go out again. I mean, it was such a crapshoot as to what the weather was like, and it was different every year. But one of the jokes that Canadians have is that you would get a Halloween costume that was maybe a size or two big, and that's how you could fit your snowsuit on underneath, and you would be okay wearing the costume and your winter clothing. And so for us, we would, it was also a day, first of all, too, when we were in elementary and junior high, you would have perhaps a school dance, and you would wear your costume, to school. I don't remember there being, I think maybe like our teacher would give us, candy or something. I don't remember that part of it. I just remember like you'd do sometimes like class photos, or you would do, you would have the dance, and there might be a prize for a costume, but I don't remember if the teachers gave out candy. I don't know that that's something that was done. And then you would rush home because what was happening. You wanted to get out there to, it was getting dark already at, 5 or 5:30. And there was always that debate about what time we go. My mom would say it's too early. People are still having dinner. You don't want to go and interrupt them when they're doing, well, it's Halloween. They can deal with it. It's one night. And we would go, and again, I don't even remember the time. I just remember when it was dark. So it was perhaps maybe 6 o'clock at the end of October, I guess. Yeah, it's dark at about 6 maybe. And we would go, we would do our street. Our house was in sort of the middle of the street, middle of the block. So we would go, one direction, and then we would come up the other side, and then we would loop around. So we would kind of make like an O shape or a square, rectangle, I guess. And then we would dump our bag. I would always have that little plastic pumpkin. My brothers had bags. We didn't do that like cheap, I'm going to take a pillowcase. No, we had like a Halloween, patterned bag. I had my little plastic pumpkin, and it became so full that you just had to go and empty, right? You had to unload and get your warm up, and then you go out again. And we would go then to the next block, and then we would go do that, the two sides of that street, and then cut through one of the neighbor across the lane. We would, just cut through there. We get home fast, dump our stuff, come in, warm up a little bit. Now, by that time, this is always the way it worked in our house, is by that second unload, my mom, more often than not, she would always, get quite a bit of candy and stuff. And she's one of those people that would neurotically mark down how many kids came. I don't know really the point of that. She would compare it from year to year, and I'm sitting there going, are you doing like an Excel file? Like what's the, it doesn't, and I don't know if she even remembers from year to year, but whatever. And so it was always around that time that my mom would start to run out of candy, and she would take our things. Now, we would then have to give her the things that we didn't want. Now, with my brothers and me, we did that whole trading thing after. We would go downstairs to the basement. I very much liked the lollipops, or suckers as you call them, whatever. I liked those. I liked just kind of like the basic milk chocolate, nothing with peanuts in it. So the O. Henry, the Wonder, no, I don't even know some of the names anymore. I'm not really a chocolate person now, but I just liked the regular. I liked the Kit Kat, the Coffee Crisp, but nothing with the nuts, nothing with like a filling, like a. I kept trying, like some of them will have like a cherry or something. I've never liked anything like that. Just the basic candy, And my brothers did like this stuff with peanuts or whatever. So, we would do the tradesies for it. And then my mom would take the things that none of us wanted. And then, you'd almost want to go and say, then shut off the light and close the door then. Like, if you didn't have enough, then whatever. Why do we have? But we weren't. You didn't talk to your mom like that when we were growing up. And so then it was, always after the second dump is when she would kind of start to pilfer our things. If it was really nice out, we would maybe go one more street over. But if I remember sometimes in the mild Halloweens, we would go. My aunt and uncle lived... Okay, so there was that 1 street, 2 street, 3, almost 4 blocks away in one direction. So we would do our street and then 4 blocks that way. And then my other uncle lived 2 blocks away in the other direction. So we would do about, 6, 7 blocks on an... Now you have to remember, let me also remind everybody that not every single house is giving out candy. A lot of them were back in the day. But it wasn't like, let's say that there's 50 houses on a street. It's not like we went to 300 houses. We weren't doing that. And then as the evening goes on, more and more of the lights are going out. So you don't bother to go to them. And then also too, you just kind of, some of the people in your neighborhood anyway, and you just know that that's the old mean guy and he doesn't have it. And you just wouldn't bother wasting your time, right? If they don't have their light on, why are you going to the house? They obviously don't want you coming there. You're going to be blowing 2 minutes of your time when you could be actually going to the ones that have the lights on and the decorations out because, they're welcoming you. And so that was kind of trick-or-treating when we were going. And then there was always the big debate about what age do you stop going. My brothers were tall and like I said, played hockey and everything like that. So when you're known for being on the team in the neighborhood, well, the people know how old you are. And so we found, and this probably is the same for a lot of neighborhoods, the older kids wouldn't get the big chocolate bars or the good stuff, right? They might get the licorice or the raisins or whatever it is. And my mom would do that, as she pointed out from time to time. And so you're kind of like, all right, as you're getting older, you're not getting as much, or, the little kids, the cute kids are getting the big, treat bags with a whole bunch of stuff in them from one house. And eventually, as a teenager, you're kind of just like, it's candy, whatever. I want liquor. I want booze. I want alcohol. Maybe not that young. But yeah, you're just kind of like, I don't have time for that. I just remember even thinking that I had my own money. I'll just go buy candy if I want it. So that's how trick-or-treating was in our neighborhood. And then what we would do in our family is that we would go to my grandparents' house. And they, obviously that, we were still in our costumes or whatever. And then we would go, and my grandma would always have these paper bags, and she would have written in crayon our name in block letters. This is a fond memory that I have of Halloween. And we knew that she had these bags. So you would always have this really, the biggest apple you had ever seen before. We always thought that she's passed now, but I mean, something that I never really, I guess I mean to ask her now, but it's too late obviously, was, did you purposely go and look for the biggest apples? Because they were always and I could totally see her doing something like that just because. And then we would have, early on it was a $5 bill when there weren't as many of us. So we would get a $5 bill in the bag. There would be a full-size chocolate bar. And she knew that I didn't like, Henry is the name of the bar. So I would either get like a full-size coffee crisp or something that she knew that I liked. You'd have the apple, which you did eat it because she was giving it to you. And then there was like a vanilla wafer. I don't remember the name of it now, but there was a vanilla one, there was a chocolate one, and then like a marble, I don't know if you'd call it that, like a vanilla and chocolate one. And the vanilla one had a blue wrapper and the chocolate one had a green wrapper. And again, I'm talking to the people of my generation here, if you know what I'm talking about. But it was kind of like a wafer sort of a thing. And full-size chocolate bar, apple, $5 bill, the wafer. And then I think that was maybe about it. I don't know that there was much more to it. But it was just really special because everybody's name was written in a different color crayon. Like I said, it was block letters. These were just things that you remember. And we would do a night at my grandparents' house. And, everybody, it wasn't like paparazzi like it is now with everybody having a camera. So we would maybe just do like one group picture. And then because you had a film camera, you would get, everybody would take only one or two because you couldn't do 50 and, you were limited. And that was kind of Halloween in our family. You had the day at school. My mom would put up the Halloween decorations maybe a couple days before Halloween. We certainly weren't decorating the house, or she wasn't decorating the house. It wasn't like Christmas that was set up weeks in advance. And then it was gone the next morning. We didn't have, we had our drawers in our bed. We had those kids' beds that had like the 3 drawers, and so we would always make sure that we had one of them cleared out for our stash or our haul for the year. And that was it. We would do our trading thing. Like I said, so when we would come back in from trick-or-treating before we would go to my grandparents' house, we would come in, we'd warm up and we would dump the candy. We would do that. And then we would go to my grandma's house. And then, we would have, we'd take candy or whatever to school the next day. But yeah, then Halloween was just done. It was done. And then as I got older, okay. So I'll talk about, we'll take a break and I will talk about Halloween as an adult right after this on the Scribble.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
It's never too early to start thinking about your next holiday. Have you checked out Mexico recently? From tequila tasting, swimming with horses, to ziplining through the jungle and watching whales and dolphins in their natural habitat, Puerto Vallarta has it all. Visit mexico.jbonair.com to see all the fun PV has to offer. That's at mexico.jbonair.com for hundreds of photos, interviews, and videos from around the tourist hotspot. Check out mexico.jbonair.com for all the fun. That's mexico.jbonair.com.
JB here, back on the Scribble. Happy Halloween to you, everybody. Now, as an adult, though, does Happy Halloween even mean anything to you? I mean, really? And that's something that I've always kind of had the... Well, I first of all, I've owned my own company for 20 years, so I haven't been in a workplace for a long time. But when I have been in somebody else's workplace as an adult, there's kind of this question of, do I dress up if I'm, in my 30s? Am I going to dress up as something when I go into work? Because I've always had the mindset when I'm going into a job that I'm there to work, I'm there to do the job. I'm not there to play the games, and it's Spirit Week, so we're going to dress up as Cowboy Day, and I never subscribed to that. I was always just kind of, if I'm here, I'm your corporate writer, I'm writing, and I'm getting the fuck out of here. I have no interest in doing Spirit Week and all the different games and prizes and contests, and we're going to decorate our desks, and we're going to... Nah, I don't got time for that. Again, in elementary school, maybe. In my 30s, no. And I'm not knocking, I'm not, if that's what people want to do, but like I said, I was never there to be social. I'm there for the paycheck, and that's really about it. And so I always sort of laugh at people too when you're going through the mall and you're just like, oh, here's a grown-up dressed as whatever, as a witch or as okay, all right, well, rock on. And I get it. People go out, they have fun. Hey, especially me being a gay man, I realize that's like, that the gay community, especially in West Hollywood, Halloween is, that's like fucking New Year's Eve on the streets. It's that crowded with people. I just don't get it. I've never really been big into it as an adult. I think, when I was in my early 20s, I worked at Party City, and maybe that's kind of what did it to me, because we had a Halloween start very, very early, and I didn't like, when you're wearing a Halloween costume, let's say at work, maybe you are wearing it the whole day, but running around a retail store and and sweating and whatever, it just wasn't for me. I didn't care for it. And also too, we had to wear them, which maybe if I'm told I have to do something and I'm kind of a little bit resistant to it, but whatever, if that's what you want to do. And we in my house, we don't dress up. Our dogs years ago would get costumes. When I was on the radio, we teamed up with a costume company, and they would pay us and send us the free costumes, so we would do photo shoots for our radio shows. But our dogs are not dressed up for Halloween. We don't do that. So when I first moved into my house, it's over 16 years ago now, I was very excited because I was an assistant manager at Party City, and we would have to decorate the store every year, and those decorations were written off, and we would never know if the decoration was coming back next year. And Party City, by the way, was only open for 2 years in my city before it closed altogether. And so we had, we always wrote off these decorations, and we're like, we don't have room to keep these, so what are we going to do with them? And us as managers, we would take them home. And because I was living with my parents at the time, my brothers had already moved out. There was plenty of room in closets around the basement and in my room and in my own closet that I would have just boxes of stuff. Whether it was, balloons, birthday stuff, whatever, retirement things, and especially Halloween. I had decorations galore. So getting my own house was kind of exciting because I thought, oh my God, I'm not going to be that house. I'm not going to have the, 17 inflatables on the front yard. I didn't have anything like that. I just had like inside decor. And this is my time now. It's my house. I can do a big display. And so that very first year, my husband wasn't around at the time, so it was just me in the house. And I remember spending the entire day leading up to Halloween. That year, Halloween happened to be on a weekend, so I had plenty of time to decorate. And I remember having the boxes all over the living room, and the front window of my house is obscured by a big pine tree across the way. So you can only really see into the front window from a certain angle as you're coming up the front sidewalk. So I was decorating the window, not realizing that, okay, because if I'm standing inside and I'm looking at the window, I can see everything because I'm looking right at it. So I went outside to make sure that all, the lights could be seen, and I thought, well, shit, there's like a shadow, and there's, like you can't see. So I had to move kind of everything. So when you're looking at the decorations from the inside of the house, the left part of the window isn't really decorated at all because I also have a shrub in the corner right beside the front door. So it looks like it's oddly decorated from the inside, but from the outside, it looks perfect because you can't really see that one part of it. I was running back and forth, inside, outside, moving things just slightly. I don't remember exactly, but I had things everywhere. I had like a flame lamp so that when I had the front door open, the kids could see it. Again, the kids they're looking at your hand and seeing what you're dropping in their bag. They don't give two shits about what the inside of your house looks like. But I had a fog machine in the crack of the door so that when I would open it, I would press the button and then the smoke would be coming out as I'm putting things in the bag. So I was going all out. I had some, candles also too on the wall that, they could kind of sort of haunted house vibes, even though I wasn't having them in my house. Trust me, I was not inviting your kids into my house when I was doing this. But it was kind of like maybe I'm wanting them to be impressed. I don't really know exactly why I was doing it. I just know that I wanted to have a fun house. And so I remember sitting on the couch and kind of looking out the window. Now, there's an elementary school down the street from me. So I thought, well, this is going to be perfect because that's kids like right there. And I'm sitting and waiting, and my dad called me, and he was saying that, oh, well, mom said we've already had however many. Remember, she keeps a tally. So let's say 17. She'd already had 17 kids come. Oh, how many have you had? I'm like, none. Oh, well, it's still early, right? They're trying to make me feel better, so I appreciate that. And that first year, though, I had gone to Costco with my friend, and he said, we got one of those big boxes of the chocolate bars. And he's like, you know what? Might as well get two, even if, as long as if it's something that you like, then whatever, right? You can have it for yourself after. And he had me paranoid that I was not going to have enough chocolate or candy for the kids coming. It was like, uh-oh. And I'm going to be that, and I'd be that guy where it's like, okay, 4 kids are going to come. I've only got enough for 2 of you. Here, one of you take a $20 bill and one of you take my dog. Like I would feel that shitty. And you should feel shitty, right? Because it's like, oh, there's 4. And I just remember sitting on the couch looking at the window feeling almost depressed. Like, what's going on? Why, what's happening? This is not cool. And then you're thinking you're taking it personally, right? Am I that weird guy on the block that everybody's kind of like, oh, don't go to him. Oh, it was totally messing with my mind. So that first year was fairly depressing. Like I said, I spent hours with, there's everything with the cobwebbing and the standing cauldron flame lamp. We sold that thing for $200 at the store. Basically like a standing lamp you'd have in the corner of your living room, although this one had kind of like a little flame that a fan would blow it, and they had little red lights, so it looked like flame. That was, I had easily $1,000 worth of decorations that I didn't pay for, but there was a lot of money in my house. And so I don't remember how many it was that year. It was definitely not, it definitely wasn't 50 kids. Maybe it was 20 something. I don't recall, but I just remember just being really pissed off. And I just thought, oh my God, I can't believe it. So the second year, I had that same friend that I went to Costco with. I had him come by, and I said, you know what? I at least want somebody to be here with me then if it's going to be a miserable, depressing, let's have fun with this. So we ended up doing shots. We ended up making it a game, and we turned it into, let's say I picked girls and then he picked boys. So when somebody or a group of kids would come up, I would do a shot for every boy, and then he would do a shot for every girl. Because again, we're thinking that there's not going to be more than 20 kids, right? Because last year was, whatever. Well, there was a bit of a change, and there were, a few more kids that were coming. So we were having quite a few shots. And what happened was, I ended up maybe being a little bit tipsy and a little bit drunk. And because I was enraged from the previous year still, and I'm not a mean drunk or, enraged drunk, but I guess for some reason I was that. I had the fog machine again in the crook of the door so that when it would open, well, that year though, it happened to be a little bit windy. So what would happen is I would press the button, the fog would blow, into the doorway. It would kind of go out, but then with the door open, it was blown right back into the house. Well, I have a smoke detector in the hallway. So from the front door to the hallway is maybe about, I'd say 15, 20 feet. So the smoke or the fog is blown right back into the house and it set off the smoke detector. Well, within, a minute, not even a minute, the smoke detector is going off and the phone is ringing because it's the alarm company going and saying, we're getting a fire alert in your house. And because I'm drunk and I'm saying, no, it's fine, it's not. We need your passcode. We need you to give the secret word or whatever it is. And I said, I don't know what it is. Well, we need to, I'm sorry, the alarm's going to keep going. I said, I just shut it off in my house. It's fine. Well, no, we need you to give the passcode or else we're going to have to send the fire department. And I said, everything is fine. There's no fucking fire. If this call is being recorded, I said, I'm making a note that you are making a false call to the fire department and endangering my community. You are making a false call when you have called my house. It's not like you just called my cell phone or whatever. It's Halloween night. I'm at home. I'm not a burglar who's going to be answering the phone, right? How often does a burglar come into your house and start taking your calls? I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong in my house. If there's a fire, I'm going to say, yes, there's a fire, send the fire department. There's no fire. It's fine. So I'm like yelling and threatening. I said, I don't know the fucking word. I'm telling you it's no fire. There's no emergency. Don't send the fire department. That's it. I hang up the phone and not even a minute later, I hear sirens. Now, the fire hall is down the street and around the corner. So the fire hall is not even a 2-minute drive away. And at the speed that they can drive, they'd be at my house like literally in a minute. I remember saying to my friend, if they just sent a fire truck to my house, it's not even about embarrassment. It's not, I'm going to be I'm canceling my, subscription to the alarm or my service, whatever you call it. I'm canceling that first thing tomorrow morning. Or right now I'm calling and you're going to get a drunken phone call saying, we're done. Thankfully, they weren't coming to my house. They drove right by. But for that brief moment, I was just like, no fucking way are you guys. I just told you. And really, I mean, they wouldn't have a leg to stand on. Maybe that's their policy, that I have to give you the secret word or whatever it is. But I'm telling you, it's not. And I told you exactly what happened is the smoke is blowing in. It's fine. Take my word for it. I understand if it's the burglar alarm going and you're not sure who's answering the phone then. It was Halloween. I'm at home. I'm telling you. And the fact was that I'd already shut it off. So it's not like, they would do anything. But they just said it would keep going off. And I said, well, then deactivate it for right now then. Like, that's not, I'm telling you, because you have to go and press in your code at the back door, right? And then it shut it off. So yeah, that was my first 2 years in my house. So first year I go all out, and then second year I'm thinking, let's just get shit-faced because, and there were a few more kids that had come that year. It wasn't, and then I think by the third year I just stopped. I didn't even bother anymore. And I think, like I said, it's the first year when you're new to the neighborhood. You kind of want to be the cool house, right? Everybody else is doing it, so I'm going to do it too because I'm cool. I'm going to jump on the bandwagon. I don't want to be that house that I hated as a kid. And then I just kind of got to the point where I was like, I don't really care for kids, first of all. Why am I going to spend so much money on chocolate? I don't even really eat chocolate, so it wasn't enticing to me. I wasn't going to the store and going, okay, I like these, so I'm going to get these, whatever. And there was just no, like, what do I, maybe that sounds selfish, but like, what do I gain from this? What am I getting from it? The kids don't give a shit about me, right? I'm running up to your stairs, give me a candy, and I'm gone. There's no gracious, there's no gratitude. There's no, whatever. So give me my candy so I can go to the next one, 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 to the next one. And that's whatever. So I later, in later years, became that house that I'd be sitting at home. I'd be sitting in the dark because I don't want to have, the kids coming up. And even now still, I mean, we'll look at it. My husband, we're in West Hollywood for the most part, but sometimes we're in Canada for Halloween. And, I'll step outside and just kind of look beforehand and see how many people have lights on. And it seems like it's becoming less and less now. I don't know that it's the same. So that's, like I said at the top of the show, I'm going to talk about, Halloween now versus when I was a kid. So parents, let me ask you, is it the same for your kids when you were growing up. Like I hear now that like parents just go to the mall. Go store to store in the mall. It's warm. It's, the candy is safe. It's from, reputable stores or whatever it is. You trust it. And there you go. Is that something that you do? Or do you go out with your kids? Like once we hit, 6 or 7 years old. I mean, my brothers are a few years older than me, about 5. Well, my oldest brother's 4 years older than me. And our parents never came with us. Maybe when we were super small, but we would just at 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. But again, it was a different time, right? It wasn't as dangerous, depending on the neighborhood, I guess. So, do you go with your kids? What age do you stop going with them? Do you insist that there's an adult with them? Maybe your neighbor goes, or a family friend, or a bigger kid will go with them. What do you do for Halloween nowadays? Send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. And do you inspect the candy? Because our parents never really did that. We would never... there was always the story about a razor blade in the apple and things like that. I don't know that many people even really gave out. I mean, could you imagine my grandma putting razor blades? We never checked the apple that we got from my baba. Could you imagine that? I'm sorry, Baba. I have to give this to my mom to inspect it to make sure there's no razor blades in it. And she's going to go and say, my own mother is putting razor blades in my kids' apples. That's funny. But, yeah, I mean, are you, do you check and what are you even looking for, right? Do you even know what, like there's going to be a giant, like, dagger sticking out of the fruit? I mean, whatever. So tell me about that. I mean, I know that there's instances of it. I'm not saying that it's never happened, but, like I said, if it's to the point where you don't trust people in your neighborhood, then just don't do it. Maybe then do the mall thing, if that makes more sense. But yeah, I mean, it's user discretion. I mean, if I live in a shady neighborhood and there's lots of crime and things like that, or I know that this house is known to have random people coming in all hours of the night, I'm probably not going to go there or send my kid there. That's just me, but whatever. Send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter @The Scribble Show and @thescribbleshow.com. Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter @The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.